Hi, welcome back to the channel. This is Dave with Return to the Vintage. Today I wanted to talk to you about some of the earlier mistakes that I made when I was just getting started as a reseller that cost me time and money and energy and lots of frustration. And hopefully sharing this will help some of you that are beginner resellers or earlier on in your journey. So the first thing I'd say is just buying too many small items. So for me, like an early example, I bought a large amount of patches, like similar to this, for very inexpensive, but I bought a whole bunch of them. And then I would go home, I list them on eBay. I have to take photos and put them up. And then when I did sell them, they only sold for like $5, $6. So it was a good experience in terms of learning along the way, but just the time and energy that went into it just wasn't worth it. So I'd say just to keep an eye out for potentially, if they are small items, more expensive items, but to maybe just stay away from things like that, like patches or sometimes like postcards or something similar. Kind of work more towards those higher end items. In terms of another second one, I'd say is just not understanding time versus money. So the amount of time that goes into potentially listing something smaller, but more valuable and just as much as a larger item, from the photographs to the listing time to the shipping, everything in between. An example maybe is like this guy. This is a Civil War envelope, authentic. So again, it's a smaller item, but it's a more expensive item. This I could sell for like $40 online. Well, versus a clock, large clock, that could sell for $40 online. Now, how much time does it take me to take a couple photos of this? How many times does it take me to take 15 photos of a clock? And then if I need to ship this envelope, I just throw it in an envelope itself, send it out, a couple minutes. But if I have to ship a clock, I have to pack it and put it in a large bag, a large box, get it all shipped out. It's going to take a lot longer. So I'd say keep an eye on your time invested, whether it's a smaller item versus a larger item, and just maximize your time. It's important as you're going through your early stages of reselling. I'd say the next thing is just overestimating demand. So you really need to focus on sell through rate. Just because something did sell doesn't mean it's going to sell a lot and often. So a good example of those are like these like corgi cars, like little die-cast cars. You'll find them all over the place, but they do sell, and they may sell for $15, $20 depending on it. But the sell-through rate is awful. So you may see 100 listed and you may see that 5 sold, which is great, but the demand is just going to sit forever. So make sure when you find something that it's got a good sell-through rate, and sell-through rate being how many are listed versus how many have sold. And a figure of 100 listed to 5 sold is just awful. So you need to make sure that you keep an eye on that. Don't just focus on the fact that it did sell, but how many have sold versus how many are listed. The next thing I would say is that seasonal items are real. This can be like Halloween, this can be other holidays like Christmas, that items could sit for 3/4 of the year and not sell at all, but then you get to the time period within the quarter of when there's a holiday and they'll sell like crazy. So kind of an example I'll share is like these Department 56. You probably see a million of them out there. They'll sit from Q1 through Q3 and won't sell at all. And then when you get to Q4, they'll just go like crazy. So keep that in mind as you're seeing items. Halloween and Christmas, I'd say, are probably the two that stand out the most. But those are ones that as you find items, just consider that are you going to make a large investment in something that'll sit around the house for a while, or are you open to potentially buying a little bit more closer to those holidays? But for me, it's a storage thing too. Like I don't want to sit on boxes and boxes of these in the house for 3/4. I want to kind of invest maybe closer to that time period, but just keep that in mind for me, like I said, from a storage standpoint. And then I'd say my number 5 is not having a system. And when I say that, I mean your time investment and a system when it comes to initially buying an item all the way through shipping an item. So when I first started, what I would do is just go and I would find an item, I'd take a picture of it, then I'd go and list it, and then I'd go and back, take a picture, and then go and list it. And it didn't make any sense. So what I did as I started getting more items lined up, take several photos of each, get in a rhythm there, and then I jump on the computer or my phone, and then I would list those in order from there. So you kind of build up a little bit more of a process on the front end, and the same on the back end. So when a couple items would ship, I wouldn't just ship one at a time. I would go and I'd package up maybe five, and then I would go to the computer and I'd get those labels printed and get those shipped. So it would kind of have like a process in place. Another process that I learned maybe some of the difficulties early is I would have my listings at any price. I would have like a listing anywhere from like $5 all the way up to, what, 200, $300. And then I determined like there's a better process to this, that I set a number at $15 and I said, I'm not going to sell anything below $15. I'm going to be regimented and make sure I do that. And so I made the change. And now I have a really good process of making a selection of an item. If it's less than $15, let it go. If it's above $15, it's going to go in my store if it's got the good sell through rate. And I think what I learned through that is, again, the time and the energy to go and list and ship something that was not very expensive. But also, I have a lot less returns. When you kind of dip below that $15 rate, you get a lot of people that sometimes, unfortunately, are just looking to buy and then kind of start an issue with the purchase, and you get a lot more returns, or you get a lot more kind of difficult conversations with buyers. So that was another process that I put in place that's really been successful. So I hope this has been helpful. Again, just a quick short video, but again, just to learn from some of the mistakes that I made early, and I still make some of these mistakes, and I'm still learning, 2 years into my journey. But again, these are some of the main ones that stood out that really have helped me as I progressed, and hopefully help you. If you've had any items that maybe you have had similar experiences with, items that you don't sell anymore, that you are frustrated with, or you've learned from, feel free to drop them in the comments. I'm sure it would help other people. Might help me too. So I appreciate you listening. And if you have any questions, or again, any comments, feel free to add them. Feel free to like, subscribe, and for more content similar to this. So thank you so much. Have a good one.